Donald Trump somehow managed to outdo himself and get even stranger than usual. And I know that sounds hard to believe. He traveled to South Florida for what was, predictably, an event centered entirely around him. During it, he bizarrely flirted with one of his top advisors, insulted her in the very same sentence, and then physically grabbed her after the ceremony. Yes, it was strange. And it only got stranger. We're going to break it all down. But before we do, if you could please leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy the channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps support our work. Now, if you watched 2 of my earlier videos today, you already know that Donald Trump was rushing to get out of the White House, even cutting a meeting short. The reason for that rush was his self-congratulatory trip to South Florida, which is detailed in this article right here. Before we dive into Trump's deeply bizarre behavior, let's start there. Trump cuts off work early to name a road after himself. Donald Trump made an early start to the holiday weekend by flying to Florida to name a road after himself. The president was in Washington on Friday morning to take part in the great historic investment in rural health round. But right after the East Room discussion, he was flying to Palm Beach, Florida for a street naming ceremony on December 8th. Palm Beach City Commissioners voted to rename a 4-mile stretch of Southern Boulevard as President Donald J. Trump Boulevard. Ceremonial markers will be placed along Southern Boulevard between Palm Beach International Airport and Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate to mark the honor. Air Force One was expected to land in Florida in time for the 3:15 p.m. ceremony, when Trump will formally add the road outside his Florida resort to his stable of all things named Trump. Most presidents tend to wait until after their tenure to be honored by their peers. But Trump isn't leaving anything to chance. So Donald Trump has been back on his usual healthcare routine. And by that, I don't mean any actual policy or action, just nonstop hype. It's been all fanfare. He keeps saying, "We have an amazing plan. We love plans. It's going to be a plan with money, and it's going to be great." And that's basically his entire pitch lately. He even held an announcement in the Oval Office claiming he had this incredible new healthcare plan, only to then show up at a press briefing about that very plan and demand that it be wrapped up early. If you watch my earlier video today, you saw him literally telling people, "Wrap this up. You've got 1 minute left." And why? Because he was desperate to get out of Washington and head south to see a road named after him by his cult followers. And honestly, Donald Trump shouldn't even get MLK Jr. Day off. If I were ever in charge, I'd probably make conservatives work extra hours that day. Let's be real. None of these Trump supporters would have supported the civil rights movement at the time. Some might pretend they would have, but many wouldn't even bother lying. So no. They don't deserve the holiday. Donald Trump certainly doesn't. Yet there he was, taking the day off on our dime to fly south, eat hamburgers, play golf, and celebrate having a street named after himself. That's why he rushed out of D.C. so early. He was supposedly discussing rural health care and hospitals, the same hospitals his administration is shutting down. And he literally said, "All right, guys, let's wrap this up. I want to go do a press conference." A press conference where, of course, he ended up both flirting with and attacking a top aide. And it all began with Trump bragging once again about how successful he claims to be right now.
Thank you, Brian. What a great guy. People love that guy. And another friend of mine and somebody, you talk about attorney generals, there's no better attorney general than this one. He better win this race because I think he's going to. I'm 407-0, and I gave him my strongest endorsement. And James Uthmeier. So where is James? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're doing good. How are the polls doing? Pretty good? It's a blowout, but let's not say that. Let's say you're winning by one or losing by one. Doesn't make any difference. Get them out to vote, right? It was an honor to endorse you, and congratulations. Doing a great job. And I want to thank Ron, too, because Ron has been really behind this with Meg and everybody else, and we did have his back at 100%. I appreciate it, and it's a great honor. Thank you very much. See you.
I honestly don't know which polls Donald Trump is looking at, because he has never been more unpopular than he is right now. And neither are the issues he claims define his presidency. Immigration and the economy were the two things Trump said won him the 2024 election. Yet today, both are dragging him down. ICE now has historically low approval ratings among Americans, especially after the killing of Renee Good, and Trump is sinking right along with it. The economy isn't helping him either. Prices, job confidence, and perceptions about where the economy is headed are all underwater. When everything looks this bad, Trump does what he always does. He lies. He started boasting about massive amounts of money supposedly coming in from his overseas trips, particularly from the Middle East, even though those claims don't hold up. What is real, though, is Trump's comfort with personal enrichment and corruption. And that's exactly why Laura Loomer took issue with it, leading to this bizarre moment where Trump both flirted with her and attacked her in the very same breath in the clip we're about to watch.
Hi, Laura. Boy, you are something. What spirit you have. Laura Loomer, thank you, honey, for being here. Appreciate it. She's, she can be a little nasty, but to me, she's always nice. So that's all that matters. I want her to stay that way, too. But
okay, that was weird. And she spends a lot of time with Laura Loomer. She's in and out of the White House in the Oval Office. Remember when she was traveling with him on the plane before and after the presidential debate? Remember that week where there was just like a lot of Laura Loomer? So, certainly a little bit of flirting. It was weird. But he was also trying to put her in check because he was like, well, I got all this money from Qatar and from the Middle East and they love me. And if you remember, Laura Loomer did not love when Donald Trump was talking about his new buddies, right-wing firebrand furious, as Trump admin gives Qatar tongue baths. So, yeah, Laura Loomer hasn't always been the biggest fan of Donald Trump and his relationship with the Contras, a relationship that now sees Donald Trump putting $500 million of oil money from the sale of Venezuelan oil into a Qatari bank account. I know we covered that story, but it needs more coverage. But yeah, maybe Trump was trying to smooth things over because he grabs Laura, as you can see in this clip right here. He's grabs at her. It's big hug, 2 kisses, very intimate, very weird. You're so lovely, Laura, and we love you, and all the Botox in your face. Can Carolyn have some of that? She's running low. Maybe Christy wants some. Did you share it? Did you go to the same doctor? Wow. Let me take a look at you. God, that's scary. Let's keep it to a distance. But yeah, that is what Donald Trump is doing right now, and Laura Loomer is right. Oh, wow. That sounded weird to question the closeness of that relationship. Again, Donald Trump is selling Venezuelan oil and putting it in a bank account for himself in Qatar for no reason other than the fact that they will probably just give it to him or put it in his crypto coin. He talks about that he's scared of the assets being frozen or stolen. Why wouldn't you want them in a U.S. bank? But Donald Trump is pretty open about how happy he is that he's just outside the law at this point when it comes to Venezuela. Listen to him right here.
We're dealing with the new president. We're dealing with a lot of the people that were running the country. And they had, our first thing is they said, we have 50 million barrels. Hard to believe, Eric. I said, is there such a thing as 50 million barrels? 50 million barrels of oil. And we have to get it processed immediately because we have no room. Will you take it? I said, we'll take it. I didn't have to consult with anybody on that. I didn't have to call up our great Attorney General. I said, we will take it. And it's the equivalent of $5.2 billion. That was the first day. And it's now traveling nicely to the United States. And we've...
Donald Trump isn't just bragging anymore. He's openly admitting that the law doesn't matter to him. He dismisses legal authority, even brushing off Pam Bondi as irrelevant, which lines up with reports that she's ineffective behind the scenes. But this isn't new behavior. Trump has always shown a complete disregard for rules and accountability, and now he's saying it out loud. He believes he answers only to his own morality, which is exactly why he won't stop unless he's challenged. Some Republicans now claim an invasion of Greenland would be their red line, but the truth is that line should have been crossed already. Trump acts as if he exists above the law, and staying quiet hasn't helped. It hasn't made him more popular, no matter how much he tries to sell that lie.
It works great. So because of that, we have more things happening than we've ever had, and I think you're going to see an explosion. You already see it, in all fairness, but this next year could be just an explosion of success.
Donald Trump keeps promising an explosion of success, but nothing he points to will actually improve people's lives. Another year of tariffs in 2026 won't fix anything. Appointing a loyalist stooge to the Federal Reserve won't make the economy stronger. None of this helps. Conditions are getting worse across the board, and it's directly because of Donald Trump's policies. Democrats are finally starting to say that out loud. And Josh Shapiro made that point crystal clear during his appearance on CNN today.
Our unemployment rate in Pennsylvania for 30 straight months has been below the national rate.
That is
true. And that's because our economy is growing. What you didn't mention is the fact that we have the only economy in the northeastern part of the United States that is growing. All of the other economies are either stable or declining. We've created, on my watch, over 20,000 new jobs that are tied directly to over $35 billion in economic development that we've brought to this Commonwealth. And in about another week or so, we're going to have another major announcement that's going to create lots of jobs and billions of dollars in economic investment. It is clear that we're doing the right things in Pennsylvania.
More governors need to speak up and be crystal clear about what's happening right now. Donald Trump is effectively running the entire economy on his own, and he's driving it straight into the ground. And Democrats should be just as clear about something else. If Trump can centralize that much economic power for his own agenda, then we can use that same power to make real structural changes that actually improve the lives of working people. If CEOs are willing to bend the knee to Donald Trump, then we can absolutely force corporations to pay their fair share in taxes, close loopholes, end abusive business practices, break up monopolies, and start rebuilding this country in a way that actually works for regular people. That's the kind of structural change I want to see, and it's what we're going to keep talking about on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.